Hello and welcome back to the Brandon Smith Rugby channel here on YouTube, and today we're going to be discussing the big question, that is who should start as scrum half for Wales in the upcoming Six Nations. We're going to have a look at playing style, we're going to have a look at this season's stats, and we're going to have a look at a few major factors which could help Wayne Pivac decide who should start against Ireland. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video. Subscription is free here and it helps the channel grow as we push towards 1,000 subscribers. There are 3 scrum halves in the squad. We're going to take a look at all 3 of them, and there'll be a couple of honourable mentions at the end as well. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with probably the favourite to start against Ireland, and that's probably going to be Thomas Williams, the Cardiff Blues scrum half, age 26, 20 caps. And the Cardiff Blues so far doing okay this season, 3rd in the Pro 14. Of course, Di Young has come in and he's the #1 scrum half for them, really. I don't think Lloyd Williams really is competing with him all that much. He's an academy graduate of the Blues and he made his international debut against South Africa back in 2018. This season for the Blues, so these stats are from the Pro 14, he has played 6 games, starting 5 of them, 1 try scored, so not a bad return at all for a scrum half. 6 clean breaks, so that shows that he often gets on the support line, and we'll look at footage in a minute that backs that up for sure. Meters gained then is 137, so you know he likes to run out in the open, and sometimes that can make the stats look a little bit better than they actually are. But again, 4 offloads, 29 carries, he looks pretty good going forward. Defensively then, if we look at his defence, then it looks actually quite good, to be honest. 37 tackles made, 5 missed, so that's a bit questionable, but 87% tackle success is pretty good. And to get 1 turnover as a scrum half as well is also fairly good. So the stats in the Pro 14 form this season look pretty good, and that does help because the Blues are going quite well at the minute. But statistically, he looks very much like a great attacking option, doesn't he? He likes to run with the ball, he's confident with the ball, and as I said, we'll look at footage with that in a second. For Wales, he's played 20 games, as I said, and he's had 3 tries already, some very important tries, and again, we'll take a look at footage for that. Thomas Williams is going to be our best attacking option for sure. What he does so well is that he has brilliant support lines, as a good scrum half always should have. He follows the player really well, staying on the shoulder of the attacking player at all times, as seen with his try here against Gloucester. He shows the knowledge and the understanding of where he should be on the pitch, to always follow the ball and to follow up with the play. He also has brilliant footwork, something which I think is absolutely underrated, as shown here against the Georgians in the World Cup. Although he's in a tired Georgian defence, he shows the ability to dance around the opposition and the awareness as well to give a beautiful offload to George North. This is something that in the loose, when we are trying to play this style of rugby that Pivac wants to play, that he will certainly be able to put forward and will definitely be able to get front ball quickly, something that maybe with other scrum halves we lack a little bit. So you'd have to say Thomas Williams looks quite good and certainly looks like he'd offer a lot going forward, and actually does a job defensively. The only questions I'd have on him is possibly his box kicking and also his physicality. Although he does like to get involved, I think there may be better options that we can certainly look at in that department. But for me, he's probably my favourite to start. But there's still 2 scrum halves to have a look at. If you're enjoying so far, subscribe. Let's take a look at Gareth Davis. Let's take a look then at Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis, of course, was probably the #1 scrum half over the past couple of years, but Thomas Williams has certainly been pushing him. 30 years old, 57 caps, so he certainly has quite a bit of experience. And of course, he's playing for the Scarlets, who are 4th in Conference B, having a very much up and down season so far. An academy graduate, he's played there all his career. So this season has been a very difficult season for Gareth Davis. He's not been firing on all cylinders. He's played 6 games with 4 starts. Kieran Hardy's been pushing him pretty close. 0 tries, 1 try assist, 1 clean break, that's all, and only 71 metres gained. It's not been the most productive season for the Scarlets, but again, you have to take into consideration that the Scarlets are struggling a little bit more this season. Looking at him defensively then, statistically, again, it doesn't look that good. 23 tackles made, so he doesn't tend to get involved as much as the likes of Thomas Williams, which is a shame because I think his physicality and his strength and the size of him, he's actually quite a bulky player. 10 tackles missed, which puts him on the 25th for the worst in the league. Tackle success rate then of 70%, and he has got the 1 turnover. The only other thing really to talk about is his discipline. His discipline has been great this season, giving away quite a few penalties, and also he's actually had a yellow card this season as well, 1 yellow card. So statistically, it's been a tough season for him, but don't take that away from him because he is a very, very good player. We know what he can do, and we'll take a look at footage in just a second to analyse that a little bit more. But from an experience point of view, he's the most experienced. He's played at the top level. He's played at World Cups. He's played in Grand Slam winning teams. He's played with the Scarlets when they've won the Pro 14. So he is someone who's very, very experienced and has that winning mentality. He's probably the safest option at the minute. But if you want to go with something more attacking, maybe you look at Thomas Williams. But anyway, let's take a look at some footage of him, and then we'll move on to the final guy, which is Kieran Hardy. Let's take a look at Gareth Davis then. Gareth Davis has been a brilliant servant for us here at Wales, and one of the best things about him is his quickness around the breakdown. Those sniping little runs, those little dummies he loves to throw, and of course he's well known for those intercepts as shown here against the Glasgow Warriors, and of course famously against Australia. So what will he bring? Well, one thing for sure is his physicality. He's a physical player. He's someone who can push defenders off, who can beat defenders for physicality. His speed, as I said, around the breakdown is extremely good, and his reading of the game, those intercepts, and of course, as any scrum half, he gives brilliant options as a support attacking run. The only question mark I'd have around him is his speed of passing, but as we see on screen, those intercepts bring back great memories for us Wales fans. So if I was Pivac and you wanted to go with a safer option, a safe pair of hands who will get involved, certainly Gareth Davis is someone to go for. But if you want to go a little bit more attacking, maybe it's Thomas Williams. Be sure to comment down below. Who do you prefer so far? Who would you pick? And subscribe if you're enjoying. Let's get on to Kieran Hardy. Lastly, and certainly not least, it is Kieran Hardy, who is back in the squad. Of course, we had Rhys Webb, who, an honourable mention, I forgot to him. He's been playing very well for the Ospreys, and I don't know, it's an odd decision not to put him in the squad, but of course, Pivac is probably looking towards youth in this one. But talking about youth, he's not as young as you may think. He is 25 years old, 2 caps for Wales, and currently plays for the Scarlets, of course. And interestingly, he came through the Scarlets Academy, but actually realised that his game time was not going to be what he wanted, and decided to head over to Jersey for 2 years, play consistently out there in the Championship, and then return to Scarlets back in 2018. Let's take a look at his stats. His stats this season are very hard to decipher and really go through because of the lack of game time he's really had. He's played 6 games this season, but has only started 2, which will be a frustration for him for sure. And, you know, he just hasn't had enough game time, so his stats look pretty piss poor, if I'm being totally honest. 0 tries, 0 try assist, only 14 metres gained, only 4 carries, 0 offloads, and then his tackling stats do not look great at all. 6 tackles made, which is okay. 3 tackles missed though, so 69% tackle success rate. He's lost the ball in the turnovers twice, which isn't too good. So it's a little bit of a frustration. He's also had 1 yellow card in that time as well. 2 penalties conceded, so it's been a frustration for him. I think it's been a very frustrating season for him, and he has generally, though, when he's come on the pitch, done okay, but the stats don't really back that, and he has been pushing Gareth Davis for that starting spot, but I think Gareth Davis has got it back now. Kieran Hardy, for me, is an interesting one. I think Thomas Williams and Gareth Davis are miles ahead of him, if I'm being totally honest, at the minute. Good in the loose. He's very good in the loose. He's got confidence to run with the ball. Do I think he's international standard right now? Being totally honest, no, I don't. I think Rhys Webb had been playing really well and deserved that call-up. You look at the likes of Dan Lydiot. He got a call-up for his good performances. So should Rhys Webb, in my opinion. But Kieran Hardy will offer something different, that's for sure. He's very different to Thomas Williams and Gareth Davis. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets much game time. I think he'll really just provide that injury cover. It'll be between Gareth Davis and Thomas Williams, but I'd be interested to know your thoughts, so put them down in the comments down below. So what can we expect from Kieran Hardy in this year's Six Nations? Well, one thing he's certainly very good at is in the loose, similar to Thomas Williams in that style of play. Very, very quick, comfortable on taking his man on, able to finish tries really well. And as any scrum half should, he's able to dictate the game from the scrum, takes the initiative and takes the game to the opposition. And as any good scrum half should as well, he offers really good attacking line option support to the player with the ball, and he's always on the shoulder, ready to finish plenty of chances. He's an interesting one for the squad. Let me know down in the comments down below what you make of Kieran Hardy. So we've looked at the stats, we've looked at footage, we've had a little think about it, and of my opinion, it's going to be, it's a tough one to call this one. What will Pivac do? I think he'll go with tried and tested. I think Pivac is feeling the pressure. I think when you look at the squad in general, there's not that many big absentees. There's not that many risks. The youngsters I picked in the autumn, he's kind of gone back to tried and tested. And so I think he will go with tried and tested. I think he will actually start Gareth Davis. I think he will. Would I do that? No, I wouldn't. Because if you want to play the style that Pivac wants to play, I think Thomas Williams suits that a lot more. He's very much attacking minded. He wants to run with the ball in the loose. He wants to snipe around the breakdown. I know Gareth Davis does that to an extent, but Thomas Williams, I think, just has that natural instinct. And I just think that he really is the player for Wales to be starting in this year's Six Nations. The other debate is who plays better with the number 10, and the number 10 most likely is going to be Dan Biggar. You'd probably assume that. So who plays well with him? Gareth Davis probably has the best relationship and the best partnership from experience of playing with him. So it'd be interesting to see what Pivac goes for, but in my opinion, I would look towards Thomas Williams. I think he will offer us the most going forward. And if you want to play, if Pivac really wants to play this style, he has to back players who play his style of play, and he has to back them. It's going to be interesting after the Six Nations to see where we're at. Of course, you know, 2 years, I'm not saying we should get rid of Pivac, but if it's a poor Six Nations, now would be the time to get rid of him at the end of this current year. So you give the next coach 2 years before the World Cup to really implement his style and what he wants to do. So Pivac has to make a decision. Is he going to full on go with his style, or is he going to play it safe? And I think he's going to play it safe. So for that reason, I think he'll pick Gareth Davis, but I would pick Thomas Williams. But there you go, that's my opinion. Really keen to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you believe in all the stats? Do you believe in the footage that I've shown you? Or what is your opinion? And let me know down in the comments below. I'd appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. As I said at the start, it's free and also helps the channel out massively as we push towards 1,000 subscribers. I'm also involved in a fantastic new show called the Welsh Rugby Roundup show, The Dragon's Balls. I'll link that down below for you to check that out. We just did a fantastic interview with David James, former Lions and Wales international, and that'll be out very soon, so I'll link that down below for you to check it out. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the Six Nations. We're going to cover it here on Brandon Smith Rugby so much, and I hope you'll join us for the ride. Have a great day.